I'm going to go through some of these questions here real quick. So bear with me here. So again, I put the link in the chat. So okay, Marshall, the power bars. Yeah, Marshall. I know you got like 2 different emails for some reason in the past. One I used to have that was not updated, but I'll get you your power bar thing downloads again. Hi one. 2 questions. Show on Renko or Uni-Renko. I don't have Uni-Renko. Honestly, I don't know if it's going to work with a Renko chart. Personally, I know some people that use Renko charts. I don't even know what the settings would be, if what you'd set it at anymore is 2 or what. It really seems that the old NinjaTrader 7 and NinjaTrader 8, it almost seems that their Renko calculations are different. I don't know. Well, let's see. I don't know. I'm not sure how it's going to look. I've never looked at it on a Renko chart, but let's pull it up here. And I don't have a Uni Renko chart. Well, you can't use 2, that's for sure, because I see what it's doing. It's two price levels. That's not going to be enough. The way the program is, it needs more data than 2 price levels in a bar. So let's see if I make it higher. So if you're using something like, say you're using a 2 range chart. I know people that use 2 range charts. It's not going to work. So let's see here. Let's just open it up here a bit. I don't know. Let's go back here. Sort of take you through some of the stuff. So this is YM. It honestly, these the way this Renko chart looks, it looks a bit like a range-based chart. I don't know what settings you use on your Renko chart. Can it be read in Bloodhound? No, I do not think it can. Someone emailed me saying that it cannot. I don't use Renko bars. I don't use Renko. I don't use Bloodhound. Yeah, Brian was asking. Brian left, but he was asking about the setting in. Let's go back to a minute-based chart. In this trade parameters, because he's asking if you use 3 in here, right? Trade validity in bars was set to 3, or trade entry in ticks was set to 3. So if you had trade entry set to 3, validity in bars, it would have to move in that direction within 3 bars before it prints a signal. Now, the thing to note, okay, when you're using trade entry signal is, this up a bit here. Once it prints, it won't reprint. Okay, but if you're not using a trade entry signal, right? So let's just disable it here. If you're not using this, it can reprint because conditions can be met in a bar, and then they can disappear, right? Especially if you're using a minute-based chart, right? The first 40 seconds of the bar is negative, right? It's all bearish order flow. So it's printing like, oh, it looks like it's a sell, right? And oftentimes people get excited, oh, I can get in early. The bar's not closed yet. I can get in 15 seconds early before everybody else that looks at a 1-minute chart. Well, you really got to wait, right? Because it can change. It can change on you in that bar before the bar closes. And that's not a trade that you want to be taking, right? So if the conditions are going back and forth, you'll see the signal appear, disappear. But once the bar closes and it's there, it won't repaint. Now, if you're using the trade entry signal, okay, right, 2 and 2. Once it prints, right, it's printing here, okay, it will not print, not repaint. So nothing's going to change, right? So once it prints, like for example, this bar here, right? This is your blue bar, right? It's telling you that the order flow is bullish, right? So it's gone up, but you notice the bar comes down, right? It didn't disappear because as soon as that condition is met of within the next 2 bars, this is the next bar, it moves 2 ticks from the high of the signal bar. So the highest here is 54, 55, 56. Once it trades 56, it prints the buy signal here, and that's it. It will not disappear, will not repaint. It will appear there. Can it be used with Thinkorswim? No, it runs on NinjaTrader, but you know, I have customers that have my indicators. They run it on NinjaTrader. They just get NinjaTrader, get a data feed, and you know, because they use Thinkorswim and they use some of the, you know, these other platforms, Trade of 8, because you know they've got, you know, NinjaTrader is really, you know, even the NinjaTrader brokerage now, the new one, they just set up their own clearing membership. Is for futures, right? And I know people also like to trade stocks and even, you know, crypto and stuff. And NinjaTrader is really for futures trader. But if you execute on another platform, I have customers that use my indicators, and my indicators run on the free version of NinjaTrader. It's just, you know, if you want to trade futures, really it behooves you to open an account at NinjaTrader. I'm not trying to shill for them. Lord knows I've got my issues with NinjaTrader, but you know, the company, you know, they sort of, but anyway, you could run it on the free version, and as long as you got a data feed, you know, you could execute on any front end you want. You know, which is how, you know, I have a lot of customers, especially in overseas markets, that, you know, NinjaTrader brokerage only basically allows, you know, the main exchanges, but you know, I got people trading in Malaysia, Japan, and they can't access those markets through NinjaTrader, so they just execute on their front end of, you know, wherever the broker is in those markets, and they just use the NinjaTrader platform for charting. Will the buy sell signal show only once the bar is completed? Okay, I sort of covered that, Al, hopefully. Again, it will, if you're using the trade entry signal, once the buy or sell signal appears, it will not change. But if you're not using it and the bar is still forming, since the bar is still forming, conditions can change. So it may not be bullish anymore. So when it was initially bullish, then it changes, no longer bullish. It's going to unprint. So it'll paint, but the conditions change, it'll go away. But once the bar is closed, once the, you know, if you're using a 1 minute chart, once that 1 minute is over and there's a buy signal or sell signal, it will stay there. It's not going to change. Canoe asks, what's the blue and the blue and the dark red? Those are the bars that have the flow edge conditions met. Now you could change it, right? Say you don't like using blue and dark red, especially if you're using a black background chart, right? Dark red might be hard to see. You could change the colors, right? You just go in there and say, oh, you know, dark red is too hard to see. You know, maybe you want either a lighter red or, you know, you want even, you know, you could use magenta, right? I use magenta for some things, but if you're on a black background chart, using dark red is going to be a lot harder to see. I know some people that like to use yellow on a black background chart. Me, I like white background charts, but you can only have, you know, so many different colors going on at once, but you can change those colors, right? So dark blue right here, or just blue rather, and change, you know, you could change it to whatever you want, right? You want powder blue, light blue, cyan. It really depends on your tastes on the colors. Yeah, friends ask, you know, can you throw up power bars on here too? Sure. Power bar. Again, I'll just keep this strength low. What do I got on here? Whoops, power bar. Flowedges, I got the 3. So again, I'll just set them both at the basic level, just so you can sort of see. Oh, I think I got power bars as magenta also. Power bars are the cyan color. Power bars are the magenta as well. Actually, you know, sort of see how, again, this is a 1 minute chart. You can sort of see the trends going on here. Blue, blue, blues, magenta, 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 blue, 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 magenta, magenta, magenta. You know, even on this trend down, you got one blue but no signal. You're just seeing the magenta triangles all the way down. The blue, blue, blue. You know, down, 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 up, up, up. You know, honestly, if I made them the same color, so what do I got? I got blue and magenta for Flowedge, cyan and magenta. If I changed it to, well, let's just go to cyan and magenta for both of them. Sort of bring it in here. You know, it's nice trends down, nice trends up. But you know, that's both of them with the same color. You know, you could just sort of show you the differences in here. Change the colors back to what did I have here? Blue. Hey, where's blue? Blue and red. Red's down at the bottom. They're not red. What color can I use? I'll use indigo. So you can see here, dark blue, right? The magenta, this is a dark red. Dark red, dark red. So you can see it. They're not signaling on the same bars. I don't want to say they complement each other, but they're coming in here, right? You're able to catch, using both of them, you're able to sort of be in sync with the markets up and down, up and, on the moves up, on the moves down, right? Because here you're seeing, some of it's driven by power bars, right? On the way up here, then on the way down, you can see these indigo purple bars, sell signal, sell. You don't see any buys coming in here. Sell, 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 buy, then sell again, sell, 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 back down. But anyway, let me take it off here. Get through a couple more questions. Oops, throw you back up there. All right, yeah, did that. Okay, Bob. Yeah, Bob, I saw your email yesterday. I just haven't had a chance to reply to you. I'll do that. I haven't tried it yet with markers. Does the trade entry signal work? I mean, it works on my real-time data. So I'm not sure, if you're running it on playback, how it works. I said I run it and we've tested it for quite a while, for months in real-time data, not on playback. So, we find that sometimes with running it on playback, there's always some problems that come up with the playback data. But Bob, I'm gonna reply to your email this evening. I just didn't have a chance yesterday. I was just really caught up on a lot of stuff. Can the gain and stop loss be auto programmed in? No, Frank. You can use ATMs, right? From when you get into a trade. If you use the chart trader, right, you could set your things up in here. Yeah, if I got anything set up in here, I've got different ATMs here for different markets that I use. So you get into a trade, it'll just automatically enter your profit and take loss. I mean, again, everyone's got different profit and take loss levels. The overnight session doesn't require more margin. If you're going to hold it overnight, basically if you're going to go into a close and hold a position overnight, then yeah, it requires margin. And again, I don't advocate people, I know people that sort of get around it by closing out the position, you know, before the market closes, and then just reinitiating it overnight. But again, you know, that's not really the way the market is intended to work. But if trading overnights, it's I still pay the same, you know, the same margin. I know some brokers they you know, and there's times, you know, when the markets are extreme volatile, you know, during COVID, right? They would overnight session, or even during the Trump, when Trump would go crazy and tweet stuff, overnight they would revert back to normal daily margin, and it wasn't until the markets reopened during the day that they would revert back to their intraday margin. Al asked to review all of, you know, the differences between all of them. You know what? I have that on my whiteboard to make a video of the differences between every indicator that we have. Because, you know, honestly, there's so many different ways to analyze the market, especially with order flow. You know, people think that, you know, for example, market profile, right? You have a profile on your chart, right? Or, you know, you're following market. Everyone thinks there's only one way to look at it. No, there's so many different ways, right? There's many different setups just on a volume profile or even a market profile. And especially with order flow, when you start digging into the footprint chart, you know, there's so many different ways to analyze it, because there's now all of a sudden there's so many different pieces of data for you to analyze, right? To look at, right? You got delta, you got point of control, you got imbalances, and then you got the combinations of, you know, well, how about delta with, you know, certain types of imbalances, or you know, just even price direction, you know, price action of a bar with imbalances. You know, how does that affect? There's a lot of different ways to do it, but, you know, again, I'm probably, you know, I don't like to run these, you know, Black Friday sales or, you know, Christmas sales, things like that. Yeah, but some people have been asking me, oh, you know, you got package deal for this, package deal for that. I'm probably, this indicator, the Flowedges is not, but some of our previous ones, I got indicators like on absorption, trap traders, etc., that I'll probably be putting together some Black Friday specials for those. But yeah, doing, you know, a video of all the differences, that's on my whiteboard to get to. But, you know, that's going to be a long presentation. Richard asks, do I use this with any other indicator? No, I use it by itself. Is there any correlation with volume spikes? Well, this takes into account volume anyway, so it doesn't take into account volume spikes. Anyway, you know, generally the market is going to move in the direction of volume, at least it should, because when there's volume in the market, you know, there's people transacting, and, you know, the market generally moves towards the volume. You know, volume in its sense, the word, when you think of the word volume, um, there's different types of volume. Okay, I mean, there's volume that's coming in during a move, which helps propel the move. There's volume, market can go up towards volume and react off that, right? Because now you have a resistance level, or volume could be, you know, resting liquidity is volume as well. So it's, you know, there's sort of different ways to use volume, and Flowedges uses volume in it. One asks, which chart settings work better Flowedges indicator with? Well, again, it's kind of an open-ended question. It's a difficult question to answer because, like I said, nobody trades the same charts, right? I could show you charts, right, that it looks great on, but not everyone is going to trade that market or that chart type, right? I showed you wheat. Wheat's a great market. It's a nice market. There's a couple of other grains that I like to look at, but I know nobody else is really interested in them, and it's like, you know, I could show you, but honestly, there's going to be very few people that like to look at it. So I mean, you know, these main markets like YM is giving you some nice trades. I mean, bearish here, boom, boom, boom. But again, okay, fine. Let's take a look at. Nobody's interested in soybean meal, right, or wheat or bean oil. But they offer great opportunities for traders. There's nothing glamorous in saying I trade, yeah, I trade S&Ps. Everybody knows what an S&P is. So even if it's somebody that's not involved in the markets, well, yeah, I know what S&P is. Because they turn on the TV, so S&P is up or down. They say I trade soy meal. I think you're, wacko. 340, 320 is a nice little sell here. All the way down into this 324.20. You don't think that's much, but this is a $100 move right here on one contract, and it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, right? Even here, right? It's another move. It's another move up, right? There's a lot of these lesser glamorous markets, are great for trading, and that's on a 1 minute chart. Again, I think you could even trade it on a tick chart because it doesn't have that volatility that some of these other markets have. I mean, look at this. Take this one trade here, just late in the day. Boom, But you get a lot of these moves like that on, these markets that not a lot of people are interested in trading these markets, but sometimes these other markets trade order flow really well. Okay, one thing to note about Flowedges, it doesn't use tick replay. Okay, so like when you're opening up your chart, you don't have to have this enabled. In fact, it won't work if you have this tick replay enabled. Now, that said, this is why I don't show it to you on a footprint chart, because my footprint chart, my Orderflows trader chart, uses tick replay. So my other indicators use tick replay. This one doesn't. So you can't have an indicator that does not use tick replay running with an indicator that does run tick replay. That's just one of the constraints of NinjaTrader. So that's why you don't see it on my footprint chart. Dave, I see your request. Okay, Dave, you use it with, oh, you got your Renko chart off the NinjaTrader forum. Okay. Yeah, sometimes, NinjaTrader, and their ecosystem, they've got like free indicators as well. I know a lot of people like to create Renko versions of Renko charts. I haven't really looked deeply. There was a while years ago I got into Renko, but it was difficult to really test anything on a Renko chart, at least for me. That's why I sort of moved back to normal charts, time-based charts, volume-based charts, tick-based charts. Okay, Brian asks, he wants to see on a NQ 20 range chart. Okay, 20 range here and NQ. Okay, so here's their 20. Let me close this side down here. It's a 20 range chart. Turn the chart trader off. Now again, this is with the base settings of 1. So 20 range chart. I don't know if you can see these signals in here. Honestly, if I was using a 20 range chart, I wouldn't use a base setting of 1. I'd probably go higher. First stop would be 3 or 4, but I'll try it with 3. Then the next stop I would do is do the swing strength. Use minimum of 1. You could really You should really probably use something like 5, because with the range-based charts, lots of times you're going to get, it just sort of tick up and then down. So you just clean it up a little bit. You got your buy here, sell here, little sell and buy back and forth here. But again, it's really hard here. There's a sell on this move down, another couple more sells here. So buy and a sell right in here. Even if you jacked it all the way up to 5, as far as strength goes, kind of curious. Just calculating here, so not a lot of signals. 5, don't even see anything earlier there. There was one sell in here. So 3 is probably a good starting point. There's came with the sell here, then a buy right here. Now, if you wanted to use 1, and then try to swing strength of something, go 9, because a lot of times with range-based charts, every bar that forms is a breakout of the previous bar, so you tend to get sort of these these upticks, and then it sells off, right? So you can see here. I just go back. Well, stick to the day session. 8 o'clock. Where are we here? 8:30. No. Stopped out here. 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 Small winner. Then you catch the move down. It's about a 40-point move from the 90s down into the 50s. Then you get a move here. The thing with NASDAQ, I know a lot of guys that trade NASDAQ that post on Twitter. And honestly, I see their results, and it's like loss. I've seen them have 9, 10 losses in a row, but they're good. They keep their losses small because they're just looking for this one trade here from 46, up to 96, 50-point move that covers the previous 10 losses. And usually they're going to, once it starts going in their favor, they're adding on and stuff. Again, NASDAQ is not for everybody. But NASDAQ is sort of a different creature in the sense that you have to be willing to take a lot of small losses over and over. Yeah, Dave, it does look like it complements power bars. Steve. No, I use it on, actually I do use it on, Steve asked, do you ever use the indicator with 2 different time frames, or would you get the same signals on most? Well, generally speaking, if you're looking at a 30-second, because I use it with 30-second charts, I use it with 1 minute, and I have them both open. Obviously the market is moving in the same direction, and I don't know, I just find, for me, because there's some markets that I trade at night in Asian markets, that during the US day session, you got a lot of different markets you could be looking at and trading. I know people that watch like 4 or 5 different markets: crude oil, S&Ps, ultra bonds, Russell, YM, even though some of those are correlated. I'm like, well, I sort of, at night, there's only 1 or 2 markets I'm interested in trading, but I could trade it off a 30-second chart. I traded off a range-based chart. I traded off a 1-minute chart. Sometimes I see things like I may see something on a 30-second chart that just never develops on a 1-minute chart, right? And just as I might see it on a 25 range chart, it doesn't appear on a time-based chart. So it gives me other views into the market on something that I could take advantage of. Darren asks, is it created by imbalance levels? No, it's not. It's not created by imbalances. I love seeing imbalances in the markets, and I use imbalances in my trading, but these are not based off of imbalances in the market in the sense of in the footprint chart. Okay, I mean, I talk about balance, right? Market wants to move away from balance to find a new balance area. That's what the market does, right? Market rallied up here, found some balance, sold off, found balance down here, rallied back up, found balance here, sold off again, right? That's what the markets do. They always searching for balance, but the way the markets move is everyone's got a different idea of where the market should be trading. Yeah, Peter. Okay, guys, I'm gonna, Peter, I'll send you something here, my personal email. If you want, you send me something there, Dave. Yeah, 2 contracts. That's the way I trade. 2 contracts, 20 tick target, 3 trades, and done for the day. Really, that's great. That's great advice. I mean, that's what I tell people. People sometimes they think it's trading has got to be a marathon, and sometimes it feels like a marathon, right? You got to trade all day to maximize. No, have your target for the day, have a nut, so to speak, and go for it. Once you reach it, turn off the machines. That's that goes for winning and losing too, right? It's hard for people, especially if they're losing. Their target for the day may be $500. They could reach it. They're fine to turn off the computer, go do other stuff, but they're down 500. Next thing, then instead of turning off the computer and walking away, they do the opposite. They keep trading. Next thing, they're down 1,000. To me, that's really the ability that differentiates successful traders from unsuccessful traders is taking the winnings, putting it in your pocket, and going home. And it's hard for people because sometimes people get greedy. And it's interesting because everyone says, well, the markets are run by algos. The computers are taking over. They are. They do provide liquidity in the market, etc. But at the same time, the computers aren't. They don't know greed. They don't know fear. But individual traders, the ones that got to pull the trigger, are subjected to that. So, markets do sense fear and greed based on traders, right? And if everything is so computerized nowadays, then you wouldn't have that factor. If you understand what I'm saying. But yeah, Dave, that's exactly what you should be doing. Antonius asks, okay, yeah, Roy, he's asking about RTY yesterday. Do I got RTY? Where's my RTY? Russell. About the drop using, okay, so Mike, can you please show Flowedges and RTY during the drop right after the open on Tuesday? Tuesday, the dates. Whoops. Show date range here. Make sure I get the right date here. What was Tuesday? Make sure I get the right date. Sorry. Calendar. Tuesday was the 9th. Okay, so this is 999. I think I got this set at a high level. 1 and 9, so I'll set 0. The base settings 1 and 0. Well, it didn't capture anything on that move down. This morning, the move up. Yeah, I wish I could say, yeah, you would have caught this whole move down. Sometimes there's nothing in the order flow that's really standoutish. In this case, in terms of the flow edge. But today, this morning, right off the open, it was there, right? This was 840. you know, you had a sell signal here at, what was that? Around the 2394 area. Then it hit this low here. And very bullish flow came in, right? And then it rallied straight up. You know, nice big green bars all the way up, right? You get a little bit of a pullback here. I mean, there's a small red bar here, another red bar here, but it's just stretching its legs here. This was today. Yesterday, sure, I can't remember what the move was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, not much. The signal came before the cash open. You know, with anything, when you're reading order flow, be careful. You know, the 15 minutes leading up to the cash open. Because obviously once the cash open, things are going to gyrate a bit more, and you got a lot of volume coming in. But there was nothing on that Tuesday morning on the 1 minute chart. But this morning on the rally, there was. Bob asked about the triangle. Yeah, you know, I've asked the programmer to do that. Like even on the power bars, I asked him like 5 times, and then this one I said, yeah, I need a setting to make it bigger, and he never does it for me. It's I find it too small personally, and I've asked him multiple times to enlarge it. I'll have to chase him up again and do it. I don't know why he doesn't do it for me, but yeah, it would be nice to be able to have that function to make it a little bit larger. At least, you know, have a setting in there where you could adjust the pixel size. I don't know. I forget what that was. Maybe that. You know, all that does is just move it down lower or higher. I don't understand why maybe you didn't understand my way I described it to make the triangle bigger. But anyway, guys, I thanks for. I'm gonna end it there. I mean, we went about an hour and 40 minutes. It's a bit long, but I hope I got through all your questions, Dave. And yeah, Dave, I'll get your other license sorted out. And what was that at the beginning? Marshall, I'll resend you out the link again for the power bars from earlier. I'll have to check which email it went to because I know for some reason I've got an older email. There's like a Saskatoon or something like that for some reason in my database. But anyway, guys, have a great day. And again, you know, if you're interested, just go to Flowedges. I showed you the page here, you know, to get it. So there's a video on here again about tick charts right here. It's 22 minutes long. There is a you know, we also have there's a very, in my opinion, thorough user guide. You know, I sometimes, you know, like I said, you know, there's software out there that looks interesting to me as a user, right? I'm always interested in learning new ways to trade and, you know, things that I can incorporate. But sometimes, you know, the way the documentation is pants. It's lousy. So I try to be thorough in documentation and explaining the settings, how everything works, so you understand that. So again, thanks for your time, everybody. Have a great rest of the week, and go to flowedges.com to take advantage of this deal. Again, next week it's going to go back up to, well, not back up to, it hasn't been there. I just released this, but it's going to go to its regular price, $4.97 next week. So again, you know, take advantage of this early bird price. So thanks everyone. Have a great day. Bye bye.